Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and do you ever wonder if you can make your own clothing? Do you want to get started on sewing but you're like, I have no idea where to start? Well, no need to stress because I am here to help. Today I'm going to show you how to thread your sewing machine, and that is basically step number 1 to getting into sewing. So let's do it. Alright friends, so here's my sewing machine. I have a baby lock jewel in it, and this is a really good basic sewing machine that you can do all kinds of stitches with. You can sew for you can sew for woven, you can sew for knits, you can basically sew anything you want. It's just a regular basic sewing machine, but if you don't have the same kind of sewing machine, basically the threading is going to be just the same. The only difference would be if your bobbin is on the front, which most sewing machines nowadays have the bobbin on the top. So I'm going to show you first how to load your bobbin, how to thread it, how to load it, and then I'm going to show you how to thread your other thread. Alright, so to load your bobbin, this is what a bobbin looks like. It's just this little case is where the thread is going to go. Now when you're sewing, you need thread to be coming at the bottom of your shirt and at the top, at the bottom of your fabric and at the top of your fabric, because they kind of hook onto each other and that's how they connect the fabric together. So this is the one that's going to go at the back of your fabric, and then the top one is the one that's going to go on top of the fabric. So usually I like to use the same color for both, so you'll have different of these little things with different colors of the same thread that you're going to be using for the top. So you have to load them first. So I'm going to grab my thread. I'm going to use black right now. Whoop! I just took the little topper off of my sewing machine little hook. Some of them are inside like mine, some of them stand up, so you're going to put it right there where it is at. I'm going to grab my thread and I'm going to grab it and walk it through. So there's different little steps. Usually your sewing machine will have like 1, 2, 3 and where it wants you to stick it. This one goes right here, some have it right on the side, and then usually this little roundy thing right here, we're going to stick it right on it because that's what helps the tension of the thread so it doesn't come apart and go all wild on you. So on this one, we go behind the little tension and around to keep it on there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my thread and I'm going to thread it right through that little hole right there. And that helps me to get a hold of my thread. Now, some bobbins do not have those little holes there. So I just kind of wrap it around the bobbin if it doesn't, okay? And then I'm going to put it right here in the bobbin little case. See how it's right there? And there's actually little, with your bobbins, there's little and some sewing machines now, not all of them have this, they'll have like this little cutting space right there, so you can actually wrap this bobbin thread around it, and once you get to that space, it will cut it for you. So I'm going to go ahead and move the bobbin holder over. So this is what's going to help you thread that bobbin. So I'm going to hold it over, and now I can bring it down to that little space that's going to eat it once you don't need it anymore, and then we're going to go ahead and start. Now with mine, I can just hit the pedal and get started, and you'll thread it, and that's what I usually do. And it's just like you're sewing, but it's just going in there and threading your bobbin. You can go all the way through until your bobbin is as full as you want it. Okay, now one thing to notice too is if you want to change the speed of your bobbin, how fast you're sewing, how fast your thread is going, there is a speed button here on my sewing machine. Some of them have that, some of them don't. Sometimes you just have to control the foot, and that's how fast it's gonna go. So we can make it go faster or slower. Alright, so now when I'm done, I'm going to push it right over to the other side, and you can go ahead and cut that bobbin, and your bobbin is threaded. You can see the thread in there. Alright, so now let's load it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull on this little lever, and this little clear space is gonna come out. Now, some of them don't have a lever. Some of them you just push right out and it comes right out. You just kind of slide it off. So either way will work. There's already a bobbin sitting in there waiting for me to thread it. You're gonna have to wait your turn, Paul. Okay, and usually you grab your bobbin and see how it's making a P. Here's my loose thread that's coming around, and that's like now my bobbin and my thread look like a P. I'm gonna stick it in there. And most sewing machines will have a little design on how you're supposed to do it, like an arrow. Okay, so we go this way, we go underneath the little arrow area, and then we go around the top. And when he comes around here, that's gonna have a knife right there. It's gonna cut it. And we're gonna grab our little clear thing again and push it right back on there. Pull on that thread to cut, and you threaded your bobbin. It is so quick and so simple. Sometimes we think things are scarier, harder than they are, but not to fret. Super, super easy. Why not? Let's thread our top thread. All right, so now you've already threaded 1, 2, and that was number 3. This one is the one that goes for your bobbin, but we're not going to our bobbin, so we're gonna go straight. Usually you go straight right down your sewing machine. You see this little U-turn right here? Down right around that U-turn. You want your foot to be, you're gonna spin your wheel all the way until this little lever, you see it right there, is sticking straight up so you can latch your thread right behind it. So it's gonna, you want your thread to get cut right behind that little lever. Once you're down here, you see number 5, it went down. Then do you see the number 6 right back there? You want to put that thread right behind that number 6. Let's let it focus. So it went right behind the number 6. Now we see our number 7, which is over here, which is our thread, or threader. Now from here, if you don't have an automatic threader, which some sewing machines don't, you can go straight to that needle right there. So we can go ahead and put our thread right in the needle and put it right under the foot and we'll be done. If you have an automatic threader, then that's the next step. You put it on number 7, which is my automatic threader, and my number 8 is back here, which is what's gonna cut my thread once I'm done. And my number 9 is what actually threads my needle. Okay, once my needle's threaded, I'm just gonna pull my thread behind it and I'm gonna bring it right over. Make sure that when you're going to use your needle threader, you want your needle to be in the high up position. So you're gonna spin your wheel until your needle is all the way up, and that's how it's gonna thread it. Now that my thread is back there, you can spin it, and as you pull this, it's gonna catch your bobbin thread. I'm gonna show you, it came out right here. Grab it so I can show you. There it is. So now you've got your thread for the bottom and your thread for the top, and you are ready to sew. You just need to put your fabric in there and push your foot down, which clamps the fabric, and start sewing. All right, how easy was that? That was just a quick overview on how I thread my machine. I promise it gets easier and easier every time that you do it. Using a sewing machine for sewing, it is so great, and it really is the only machine that you need to get started sewing, because if you're using knit fabric, you can use stretch stitches on your sewing machine. If you're using woven, you can use any other stitch on your sewing machine. So please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't, so you never miss out on any of our tutorials. I will be coming back and doing another tutorial on our sewing machine, just teaching you how to get started, because it can be a little bit scary. So comment below and let me know what you want to see and what you are struggling with. What do you want to hear about? I hope you have a great rest of your day. Please come join us on Facebook or Instagram if you haven't, and I'll see you all next time.